This instructional video shows how the Spire purchase order system works. So you click on the left-hand side to the Purchases module, and you'll see a list of purchase orders that are not yet closed to purchase history. We have several statuses. Some show that they've been received, but not yet closed. They've been issued and sent to the vendor, open and not yet sent out, and we could have standing purchase orders as well, which is a repeat purchase order. So we can sort this list however we wish. We can see we have several vendors in here, and we sort by the vendor. We can see which POs are outstanding for that particular vendor. On the list, you can see the amount of the subtotal, what's been received, the remaining amount, and the total itself as well. And also, we can see other information that may be important, and those columns can be dragged over to the left to be able to see them more easily. The required date is an important column because we can sort by that to see what purchase orders are now overdue. And we can just highlight them, each one of them, go into them, and look at the information here where the phone number is, and we can give them a call, see what the problem is, and then update the required date to give us the new date that we are expecting them. Now, if we go to create a new PO, we just hit the plus button. But I'll go into a purchase order that I've already got started here, and we'll go into number 59. So here we have, to start with, we have a note on this order that says drop ship. That will be drop shipped to Jackson Fitness, which is one of our customers in the system. We click OK, and we see by this red communication where that note came from. That we added a note, and we clicked on alert on that note, and it popped up that information to us. So at the top of the order here, we can see that we've got the vendor, and we have a note that says always place orders with bill. That note came from the vendor itself. If I click Open Vendor, you'll see under General, I've got this this note here says always place order with bill. Okay, so that comes in yellow. It's not editable on this screen. It's just one piece of information that's important when you create an order for this particular vendor. You can put an order number if the vendor has given you an order number for this, and a reference number of some kind that references another piece of paper or something. See, right now the order is at an open state, not yet been issued. I've got a couple of things I can do here. I can put it on hold, or I can make it a standing order, which repeats itself. So the PO number gets put on the system automatically. The order date gets today's date unless I edit it. The required date is when I'd like to see this product in stock, and if I've partially received against this purchase order, you'll see the last time I made a receipt on this, and then what date it was, and the phase that is in the approved phase, and I have two phases set up, and I can add any number of phases on the fly here that I require for a purchase order. But in my case, I have new and approved. And when I hit the next phase button at the top of this purchase order or on the list here, then it'll move from the first phase into the next phase and all the way through till it gets to the end of its phases. Okay, the shipping information. Here I chose Jackson 225 as my drop ship for this one, so I chose it off my customer list, and that gets put onto the ship to automatically. I can also check the sales history for these items. I can check the purchase history for these items for the one that I purchased here, both in full and items detail. And then I got user defined fields, any attachments I might have here. In this case, I've got an instruction book that I've got attached here, and if I double click it, it'll open up that in this case a PDF, or if it's a Word document or any other kind of document, as long as you've got the reader for it, you can open that up. All right, bottom here now I've got in several items that I've added onto this order, and you'll see as I click each item, I get the status of it. So here I got 2 in stock, 2 on hand, none committed, none back ordered, 1 on order, and I don't have an expected due date at this point. And the other information I see across here is the extended costs of duty and freight that can come from the inventory item if it's set up. Okay, you'll see down at the bottom here that I've got all my totals, and when it's ready to go, I simply issue this purchase order. So I click the issue button, and the report comes up for the purchase order itself, and I'll just preview that, or I can email it to my supplier, and I get my totals on there. And now the purchase order has gone into a state called issued. Issued means that the supplier most likely has a copy of that particular purchase order. Now I can open it up again I get my message and unissue it, but if I have the security for it, but if you do that and you edit it, you should make sure that your supplier has the most up-to-date copy. All right, so now I'm in here and I can go ahead and receive it. I can do that by clicking one at a time and clicking in my receive quantity, which I had done earlier, or I can go receive all and it'll receive the whole purchase order. At this point, if I don't hit the receive button, I simply save and close it again, it'll be kind of a receiving in progress and doesn't actually post anything yet. And I had done that previously on this PO. Now I can also go here and go receive none and start over, and I can manually type in these amounts here. Again, I'll just go receive all. And then when I've finished receiving it, I can go ahead and receive. It asks me, do you want to create a vendor's invoice? And if I say no, it will accrue the accounts payable, and it will debit inventory for the amount of the value of this purchase order. If I say yes, then it's going to debit inventory and accrue and post a credit to accounts payable. So I'll put in a vendor's invoice. I can override my terms if I wish here. In this case, it's net 60 days, but I can choose a different set of terms. The invoice date, maybe it was dated a couple of days ago. I can change that. The due date comes up. Post on off, automatically on and off. If I uncheck it, I go OK here. Then I get presented with the GL posting screen, which I can change here, although I usually shouldn't in this case because it is posting directly to the GL account for inventory and accounts payable, and if you change those numbers, you're going to put some balances of your subledger out of balance there, so you really shouldn't touch that. Now it asks if I want to close this order. In this case, I'll say yes because it's fully received, but if I did not, then I could say no and receive more against it later on. But in this case, I'll say yes to close it. It now allows me to have a report if I wish to print after the fact, and then it removes it from my list, and it is posted directly to accounts payable. If I go into fitness development, we'll see that invoice there, and you'll see that I can go ahead and view the purchase order from here as well, and there's the purchase order that I just received, and it's reviewing it from purchase history. So that's the purchase order module, and there's more details in the manual for step-by-step instructions.